75, Tyler Hocker. On the O-line, sophomore number 64, Colton Gaffney. On the O-line, sophomore number 60, Wyatt Sales. On the O-line, senior number 52, Gage Coda. Senior on the offensive line, number 50, Brody Bishop. Running back, number 22, senior Brooklyn Bonneville. Senior running back, number 13, Ethan Hempstead. Senior wide receiver, number 9, Lucas Simmons. Senior wide receiver, number 6, JT Hill. And your junior quarterback, number 8, Zach Kaufman. Head coach for the Gophers, Mr. Mike Melton. For the Cardinals, wide receiver, number 1, Justice Lowe. Running back, number 8, Brady Copes. Quarterback, number 9, Mario Ambrose. Running back, number 11, Solomon Wells. Wide receiver, number 17, Anthony Gans. Offensive line, 55, Chancellor Summers. On the O-line, 59, Jackson Lindbergh. On the O-line, 65, Riley Prince. Offensive line, number 70, Tylee Smith. Offensive line, number 72, Nathaniel Pernis. And the tight end, number 89, Graham Joshi. Head coaches, Jeremy Johnson and Neto Fleming. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you could please stand and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Flag is located in the northeast corner next to the scoreboard. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Gresham High School, home of the Gophers. We're going to get a coin flip for you. 90 seconds till kickoff. Last week in Gopher sports, volleyball swept David Douglas Wednesday in all 3 levels. Varsity boys soccer lost.
Hello everybody, welcome to Gresham High School, where today the Lincoln Cardinals have traveled here to Gresham to take on the Gresham Gophers. I'm Shane Downey, joined by Dave Hall. Dave, both these teams come into the game with an 0-1 record. Of course, we saw the Lincoln game last week. Lincoln struggled to score, did not put any points on the board. I know you had a chance to talk to head coach Jeremy Johnson before the game.
I did talk to Coach Johnson, and he's pretty much said he's going to go the same way he went last week. Interestingly enough, both these teams gave up 13 points last week. Cardinals didn't score any. Gophers scored 9 against Franklin. So both teams 0-1. Both teams gave up 13 points.
And on the injury front, of course, we did see a few guys get banged up in the game last week for Lincoln. What can you tell us about that?
Charles Wilmot will not play tonight.
That's too bad. He was one of the productive players for Lincoln last week. As we're just about ready to get started here, Lincoln will be kicking right to left here at Gresham High School, excuse me.
And a great night for football.
As that one looks to not travel it gets just over the 10 yards it looks like, but Gresham will start out with pretty good field position in those blue jerseys with the white pants and the blue along the side of those pants and the silver helmets with the blue G across the side there.
We start off with the short kickoff. We saw a lot of those last week.
Yeah, and we speculated that they may be intentional, and that might have been the case, just trying to catch Gresham off guard, but their special teams unit able to recover the ball, and we'll start things out at the 45-yard line, moving left to right from the far hash mark.
This is kind of a homecoming for me. 25 years ago, my son played for the Gophers, and my wife I was married to at the time was the softball coach. So I've been here a lot.
Zach Kaufman looks to be getting the start at quarterback, takes the first snap, has a man in the flat, caught there, 5-yard gain, a little bit more. Well, let's mark it 4 yards, excuse me. You know, you used to talk about homecomings. I had an apartment once, the first place I had here without any sort of significant amount of roommates when I moved here was about 50 feet walking distance from this high school, yet I've never called a game here. So
all right,
coming full circle.
Coach Melton told me they'll run the spread. They like to throw the ball. They've got a couple of really good receivers. Their tight end, number 87. They're a wide receiver, Lucas Simmons, number 9, and a freshman, number 7, Lucas Fonner.
Quarterback pulls it back. A little dump-off pass over the middle. Should be enough for a first down. It is.
That's that tight end, number 87, Ethan Evans.
Well, when you think of tight ends and number 87, one thing that comes to mind for me is, of course, Rob Gronkowski, who just won another Super Bowl, and I wonder if he took any inspiration taking that name.
Well, Evans is 6'4", 205.
A big kid, no doubt about that. And one thing you immediately notice is, once again, this is similar to last week for the Cardinals. They are simply outnumbered. If you look at the sideline, almost double, as here's a first pitch run. Short gain, maybe not much at all.
Cardinal defense getting in, loss of 1.
Excuse me, a loss of 1, so 2nd and 11 upcoming. And we did see the Cardinals' defense against the run was very good last week, and they show that here yet again.
What a great facility now at Gresham High School. After the remodeling, it's beautiful here. Great night for football, too.
And we do have some fans in the stands here tonight. I don't know what the exact parameters of who could come. 100 limit, as that ball is incomplete.
Pass is high and incomplete.
Intended for number 87, Ethan Evans. Yeah, so 100 limit. A little questionnaire when I entered the building. And here we are. We will be back at Wilson High School. The Lincoln Cardinals will be taking on Wilson a week from today.
What a great effort they had last week in their loss to Roosevelt, 38-32.
So 3rd and long now for Gresham. Let's see if Lincoln can make a stop. Quarterback drops back, and the ball is down, and it's picked up by Lincoln. And Lincoln has the ball picked up by number 8. That's Brady Kopetz, who we will see on offense.
Kopetz had a great game on defense last week rushing the passer. The passer went back that time, and you saw him, he had his hand down by his side, and he just dropped the ball. Dropped it right in front of Kopetz, who just flopped on it.
And really, he dropped the ball and almost didn't realize it, it seemed like. There was no reaction that I saw.
It wasn't like he thought, oh, I dropped the ball, I got to jump on it. He just kind of stood there.
It's almost like he thought he handed the ball off. Maybe that was the intention of the play, and then next thing he knew, the ball was on the ground. He didn't realize it. So now, I was thinking the Lincoln would need to make a stop on 3rd and long, but instead it's a turnover, and you see number 9 there under center. That is Mario Ambrose, the senior quarterback.
And Solomon Wells getting the start at running back, number 11 with the ball.
And there's Wells with his first carry of the game, gets a yard.
Carries for a couple of
so
yards.
Solomon Wells stepping in after the injury to Charles Wilmot. And it'll be 2nd and 9 here on the first possession for Lincoln on offense. 9:40 remaining here in the first quarter. Still no score. We saw sloppiness, to say the least, last week in both games we covered, but Lincoln did struggle with some penalties last week. Did head coach Jeremy Johnson have anything to say about that?
We talked just so briefly about that, and he said everybody's in the same boat.
Yes, absolutely. It was the first week for everyone. So 2nd and 9. Solomon Wells in motion. Kopetz airs it out in the flat, has a man across the 35. The ball is loose, out of bounds. That was Justice Lowe.
Ambrose on the completion to Lowe. He fumbled the ball. He was already out of bounds when he fumbled it.
Justice, excuse me, is the first name there. And Lowe moves the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 33 on the near hash mark, moving right to left.
The athletic department made a pronunciation list for us for all the players. I was really pleased that they did that.
It's definitely helpful. We'll be checking that once or twice. We certainly do want to get it right. Here's a handoff. Near the line of scrimmage, nowhere to go. Runs into a few different defenders. Looks like number 7 on the defense, Lucas Feiner, who's just a freshman, already stands in at 6'1", 180.
That's the player that Coach Milton was talking to me about. He said that, and he said the kid can fly, so we'll see.
Listed as a running back and a defensive tackle. We will be seeing him on both sides of the ball.
In practice, he was running plays at wide receiver, so that's where the speed is at.
Some communication, as there was no receiver set on the far side of the field. Now you see Iwanga there.
Iwanaga.
And we have a whistle that was a catch, but that's going to be a timeout before the snap.
Dylan Iwanaga is a sophomore, by the way.
Remember, you can follow Gresham Athletics on Twitter.
I will certainly be studying this pronunciation guide.
Exactly.
We do apologize if we get anything wrong. So that play is stricken from the record. We will try again in just a few moments, as head coach Jeremy Johnson called a timeout as it was nearing the end of the play clock, and we did see a few delay of game penalties a week ago.
What a treat it is to have a scoreboard, a clock running, timeouts, all of that.
Yeah, I don't see a play clock there, but the timeouts is very useful, because I know we had a lot of confusion about how many timeouts were left.
And we had trouble with delay of games, too.
Oh, absolutely. So Lincoln, the visitors here today in a non-league matchup, taking on the Gresham Gophers.
2nd down, 10 for the Cardinals.
2nd down. And in motion. Handoff up the middle. Stays on his feet. Kopetz up to the 25-yard line, just inside the 25. And it'll be 3rd and short upcoming.
They faked the fly sweep that time and give it to the fullback on the dive play. Straight up the middle.
3rd down, 2.
3rd and 2.
So Kopetz, we did see him complete a pass on that blown play. The timeout was called, but we have not seen him attempt a pass officially.
Ambrose.
Excuse me. Yes. And here's Kopetz again, just powering his way up the middle. That should be close to the 1st down marker. And if history is any indication, even if they fall short, Lincoln will be going for it here.
And that'll move the chains.
They do announce that they will move the chains, so a 1st down for the Lincoln Cardinals, nearing the red zone, just outside of it at the 23-yard line.
Thanks for joining us here tonight, Oregon Sports Beat. We've had a busy week, and we have a busy week coming up next week. Go to our website, OregonSportsBeat.com, and you'll see where we'll be. Monday night we'll be at Central Catholic High School for a volleyball game.
Ambrose awaits the snap under center, has it, drops back, looks to his right, and airs it out short of the intended receiver.
You know, when you run a slant pattern, the idea is to throw the ball in front of the receiver, not behind him, and that's what happened that time.
So Justice Lowe, before he turned his shoulder, the ball was already out and fell a few feet behind him. So it'll be 2nd and 10. I'm certainly thrilled that the weather is a little bit nicer this week, Dave.
Oh, my goodness. You and I were on the air for about 7 hours last week doing 2 football games and like to froze.
Yeah, I came more prepared this time, even though it's much warmer.
Go defense!
2nd and 10.
6:22 on the clock. No score here in the first quarter. Here's a pitch, and the defense able to make the stop in the backfield. And that was Ethan Evans who made the initial stop. We've said his name a few times already for the Gresham Gophers.
Coach Melton, when I talked to him, I said, what should we watch tonight? And he said, watch number 87. So he's already been on our list here a couple of times.
Yeah, you can certainly tell there's some talent on this Gresham squad. So 3rd and long. Quarterback drops back, now rolls to his right, under pressure, escapes near the sideline, but intercepted by the Gophers. That looked like number 11, Dawson Coder.
Going to be Gopher ball, number 11, Dawson Coder. Getting in there.
So both teams
Mario Ambrose's pass.
exchanging
Gopher ball on the 6
turnovers.
line. 1st and 10.
But if it's any consolation for the Lincoln Cardinals, at least the Gophers won't have very good field position. So 5:31. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, have we not had a penalty in this game? It feels like we're watching a different sport.
No penalties so far.
I hope I didn't just jinx it.
That's the first turnover of the game.
1 turnover for each team.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Gophers at their own 6-yard line. Here's a handoff going up the middle for a short gain. And you just see a wall of players.
Handoff inside, gets a couple of yards. Hempstead gets 2. 2nd out.
2 yards on the carry for Ethan Hempstead, the senior running back.
I mentioned to Coach Melton that Wilson ran a T formation last week, and he said, you know, maybe we ought to try that.
Yeah, we'll see if either of these teams have something new up their sleeve after one more week of practice. Here's a pitch onto the far side of the field. Hempstead, another short gain.
Shane, you mentioned that last week the Cardinal were very good against the run, and they're looking that way early tonight.
Absolutely. So 3rd down. And we saw last week the majority of teams we covered. We mentioned we covered those 2 games back to back. A lot of teams going for it on 4th down regardless of the scenario. But I have to imagine if Gresham doesn't convert here, they will likely be punting. Pass over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. And 4th down, and it looks like the punt team will come onto the field. It was number 9, Lucas Simmons, who couldn't pull it in.
Simmons, a senior, back to receive, Justice Lowe.
We do want to thank you for joining us here on Oregon Sports Beat. I know a lot of you would probably love to be in the stands here tonight, but circumstances still playing it safe, and about a 2-yard return on the punt, and Lincoln will start with excellent field position inside the 40.
You know, we are in the stands tonight because of the COVID restrictions. I'd rather be in the press box, but this is kind of fun to be out here with the fans, although there's only 100 of them.
Things, of course, pretty spread out here in the stands. Masks being worn. They spot it at the 40-yard line, and we do have our first flag on the play. That'll give us a moment to tell you about some of our sponsors. When you want the highest quality meats, seafood, and sandwiches, come into Phil's Meat Market and Delicatessen, Portland's original neighborhood butcher shop, located in the Uptown Shopping Center on Northwest 23rd Place and Burnside. When you are making as major a financial decision as buying a home, you want it done with the best. John Bruce of Guild Mortgage has been supporting the Lincoln football community and providing home mortgages for over 20 years. Call him today at 503-635-8997. Go Cardinal football. Make it happen. So a 15-yard penalty. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say Cardinal penalized 15 yards. Personal foul.
So that backs it up to the other side of the field. 45-yard line, man in motion. Handoff, looking for a hole up the middle, kicks it outside the numbers across midfield. And that's number 11, Solomon Wells. So we've seen him get in on the action early. Didn't really see him last week, but once again we mentioned the injury for Wilmot opened up the spot for Wells. And a 6-yard gain on that carry, 2nd and 4.
And Wells is lined up at a number of positions. He's wound up at, he's lined up at tailback. He's lined up in the slot.
Lincoln Cardinals in those white jerseys. Red numbers, red helmets up top. Quarterback has the handoff, and that's going to be a first down and more. Wells again across midfield up to the 40. And they get that penalty yardage back.
Great stutter step by Wells that time. Came up to the line of scrimmage, kind of slowed down, kind of took a little jump step to the right, and turned that into a 15-yard gain.
So now it will be where they thought they were going to start before the flag. 1st and 10 from the Gresham 40. Ambrose under center. Handoff to Wells, who stays on his feet for a short gain. It looked like he was going to be tackled for a loss initially, able to shuffle step around the defender and get maybe a yard on the play. No, it looks like they're going to spot it right at the original line of scrimmage.
Avoided about a 2-yard loss by taking that little extra step.
Yeah, that's something that will never show up in the box score. You see Solomon Wells carry for 0 yards, but actually a pretty good play from that young man.
Exactly.
Two receivers wide right. They're going to hand it off, find a hole up the middle.
And off to Kopetz.
Kopetz with a 3, maybe 4-yard carry, and it'll be 3rd down.
Call of a gain of 4, 3rd down 6.
3rd and 6.
Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Still no score. Lincoln threatened a few moments ago and then threw an interception in the red zone. Gresham took over and went 3 and out. Lincoln has moved the chains once on this possession. Receivers on each side this time. Now the man in motion moving to the far side of the field. Handoff up the middle yet again, off the left tackle up to the 31-yard line for Kopetz. That's near the 1st down marker, but looks to be just a tad short.
No doubt the Cardinal will go for it here, 4th and 1. Kopetz going off left tackle here the last couple of plays has had good yardage.
Let's see if they go back to him or potentially Wells on this next play. It is our first 4th down of the game where a team will clearly be going for it. Gresham punting on their 4th down. And previously both teams turning the ball over on 3rd down. So big play here early, just under a minute remaining here in the first quarter. Still no score. Lincoln hoping to maintain possession, and we have a whistle. It's a timeout by Lincoln, already using their second timeout here in the first half with a minute remaining here in the first quarter. Things do look a little cleaner here, Dave, but Kopetz did throw a couple interceptions last week, has one here in the first quarter, but...
No, Ambrose. I
do apologize.
Okay.
I don't have the "it's the first game for everyone" excuse anymore.
Right. They're only one number apart. Kopetz is 9 and Ambrose. I'm sorry, Kopetz is 8 and Ambrose is 9.
Correct.
And of course, Ambrose is the biggest player on the team.
Yeah, Ambrose does certainly stand out at 6'4". Those two, of course, working together often.
Ambrose is senior, Kopetz is junior.
So now Jeremy Johnson has found the perfect play for his offense to convert here on 4th down.
4th down.
Ambrose under center. Has the snap, handoff, and running into a defender immediately, but outstretching there is Kopetz. And we mentioned he's 6'4", but the PA announcer is on it. A turnover on downs. They are not going to measure, just a few inches short.
See, I might have measured that one.
I would certainly be arguing for a measurement if I'm Jeremy Johnson right now, but they're not going for it. It's a little tough to tell if you can see the down markers. I'm not sure if the viewers at home can see the down markers, but they're about maybe 5 yards beyond the out-of-bounds area. So it's tough to tell from this angle exactly where they're spotted. Here's a handoff for Gresham, who runs into a wall of Lincoln defenders, and everybody's standing each other up, eventually going down. No gain, 1st and 10, or 2nd and 10.
10 Cardinal at the point of attack. The only Cardinal who wasn't in on the tackle that time was the wide receiver out to the left. Otherwise, every single Cardinal player was in on the tackle.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen that in other stadiums, Dave. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not used to the down markers being so far away from the edge of the field. Does look a little strange.
On the defensive front that time, 64 Max Dickinson and 70 Tyler Smith did a great job of bottling up the ball carrier.
12 more minutes on the clock.
That is the end of the first quarter. Lincoln has been held scoreless through the first 5 quarters of their season. Let's take a moment to tell you about some more of our sponsors. Washman, unlimited transactionless car washes, only $39.99 per month, with Armor All Tire Shine and Clear Ceramic Seal Ultra Shine and protection. Wash it at Washman. Car washes today. Founded in 1984, Trailblazer Foods is one of the Western United States' largest producers of preserves, jellies, and other sweetener and fruit-based products. Trailblazer Foods wishes Lincoln Cardinal football great success for 2021. Call them today at 503-666-5800 or check them out online at www.trailblazerfoods.com.
Great observation. Cardinal now have not scored in 5 quarters.
As the sun is slowly setting, the lights, of course, are on here at Gresham High School. You can see Burnside beyond the field.
Now, tomorrow night, it'll be an hour later at this point.
Is that tonight?
Yes.
I knew it was coming soon. I didn't realize it was so soon.
Tonight.
Any scenario where we gain an extra hour of sleep is okay by me. And an extra hour of sunshine. You know, here's the snap. Has a man in the flat, but incomplete. That was close to being a backwards pass, but they're just going to say it's incomplete.
Kopech that time on the rush and hit the quarterback just as he was releasing the ball.
I can speak for myself with the day job moving to an at-home job 100% of the time in the last year due to ongoing circumstances. Always a little sad when you work from home and get off at 5 p.m. or roundabouts there and it's already dark outside.
Right.
Never a good feeling.
No, you hate that when you wake up in the dark and go to bed in the dark.
Absolutely. So I will take the extra hour. Absolutely.
3rd and 10.
Some movement and a whistle before the snap. I think they're going to get, is that number 69 of the defense, or maybe 89, Graham Joshi. No 69 on the roster. Excuse me.
Penalty indicated against the defense. Neutral zone, 5 yards.
Still 3rd and 5.
3rd down 6.
That's 89, yes. And assuming they called it on Joshi, but definitely saw some movement on the front line. They call it a neutral zone infraction. So a little bit closer here on 3rd down for the Gophers. Low snap, they pick it up and thrown and caught there, but tackled before the 1st down marker by a few yards. And now you have a decision to make for Gresham, and it looks like the punt team will come onto the field.
Mario Ambrose on the tackle that time. No gain really, and it's 4th and 4.
Gophers set to punt.
Jack Nealer into punt. One man back to receive for the Lincoln Cardinals, and we have a whistle and a timeout called by the Gresham Gophers before this kick by their head coach, Mike Melton. So
that's their first timeout.
So Gresham with 2 timeouts remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Lincoln down to just 1, 11:15 on the clock, just underway here in the 2nd quarter. Still no score. Both these teams looking for their first win on the season. I know we went over this a few times last week, but for anyone who didn't get the chance to join us, Dave, obviously we're playing an abbreviated season this year. Why don't you explain to the folks at home what that means exactly?
Well, it means different things for different teams. For the PIL teams, they're playing 6 games, 5 scheduled games, and then at a game at the end of the year that they kind of match up with other people in other leagues. For example, the PIL play the Mount Hood Conference or something like that.
Here's a sky-high kick. It doesn't go very far down the field, lands out of bounds right at midfield.
To follow up on what I was saying, though, the Gophers have only scheduled 4 games. Franklin, Lincoln, Park Rose, and Barlow. So tonight they'll be half done with their season.
Yeah, it is going to fly by.
11:07 on the clock.
I'm sure these young men are disappointed, especially the seniors playing an abbreviated season, but I'm sure they're just happy to be playing at all.
We haven't ironed everything out yet, but it's going to seem strange going from football to baseball.
Definitely a little odd.
That net on that kick, that netted 4 yards.
It just went sky high, and they end up spotting it at the 42. So another excellent spot for the Lincoln offense to get started. Here's a handoff, turning upfield and across the 35 up to the 37-yard line.
I'm sure that was that started out as a jet sweep, and when Ambrose got up there, he cut back against the grain to the left and picked up about 8 yards.
Justice Lowe on the far side of the field is limping off the field, not putting any weight on that right leg. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. He immediately goes to the sideline and drops down.
All right. And he's off to the side and sitting down.
It might just be a cramp. Hopefully nothing too serious. He got off the field in a hurry.
Solomon Wells takes his spot outside now.
Handoff up the middle, runs into his own man, kicks it outside the numbers across the 25, and that's a first down for the Lincoln offense as Wells with the carry.
Wells came from that left flanker spot and just came back in motion, got him the ball. He took a little stutter step and then turned it inside. Nice pickup for the first down.
You mentioned the facility here at Gresham High School. The lighting is excellent. Scoreboard operator doing a great job thus far.
When you're in the visiting stands, you're a long way from the field over there.
It does look a little further. Lincoln, another handoff up the middle to the big man across the 15, inside the 15. Kopetz up to the 12-yard line. That's near the first down marker.
He is a load.
Nope, that is going to be enough for the first down, excuse me. So not quite first and goal. It will be first and 10 from the 13-yard line on the near hash mark. And Lincoln threatening for their first points of the season.
No wind tonight. You can see the flag. It's just not moving at all.
Here's the snap, another handoff up the middle. Staying on his feet is Kopetz inside the 10 up to about the 7-yard line. And just power football right now for the Lincoln Cardinals.
You know, when it was 4th and 1 down here and Kopetz didn't pick up the first down, since then, he's just been putting his head down and bowling into the line.
Absolutely. Got to give credit to the coaching staff not being swayed by one play that didn't go their way. They continue to go back to Kopetz. Now second down, they don't need to score to get a first down. Need to get to about the 3-yard line.
Give it to Wells.
And Wells spins, stays on his feet, runs into another defender, however, and is taken down on the second try.
You know, we talked before about Wells getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. Might have a big loss, and he turned it into a zero play. Well, that's what happened there, too.
Looked like the initial contact on the defense was Brody Booz, 6'4", 190 junior. So we mentioned that the biggest player size-wise is Kopetz for the Lincoln Cardinals, standing in at 6'4". Gresham has a number of players who stand in at 6'4". Nobody higher, but still definitely have the overall size advantage.
Right, number of tall players.
Kopetz for another short gain. It's going to be 4th down near that first down marker, right at the 5-yard line.
Like Shane said, the Cardinal can get a first down without getting a touchdown, and it's 4th and 2, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's 4th and 2 from the 5. So once again, they don't need to score, but they need at least 2 yards to keep the ball here. Just over 7 minutes remaining here in the first half. Still no score between the Lincoln Cardinals and Gresham Gophers.
Are the Cardinals going to go for a field goal?
It looks like they are. We have yet to see that this season. And into kick is Dylan Mangus, and a timeout called. So the final timeout of the first half for the Lincoln Cardinals with 6:53 remaining. Perhaps they were just trying to catch the defense off guard, not sure, but we'll see what formation they come out.
I haven't scored in 5.5 quarters. I'm down 4th and 2 at the 3. I'm sorry, but I'm going for it.
Certainly want to get points on the board when you have the chance. And that's the thing with this level of football. We really never, let's just say in higher levels, it would be a sure thing 3 points from this part of the field if you wanted to go that route. We don't know if that's the case here.
All right. Just from a psychological basis, I think kicking a field goal is like, I'm not
now be
even
careful,
sure.
Dave.
I was trying to choose my words.
I see the wheels turning.
I was trying to choose my words.
Looks like Lincoln's lined up to go for it.
All right.
All right, they are indeed keeping the offense on the field. Ambrose under center. Here's a snap. Kopetz, does he get enough? It's a short gain. Looks like it's going to be quite close. If it's the 3-yard line, that's where we're imagining he needed to get to.
Well, the defense isn't coming off the field, so I'm thinking Kopetz got that. He's down around the 2. I think that's a. Are they going to call for the chains? Let's see.
Still no official call.
You're right. See how far
Okay, now they're calling an official timeout. It looks like they're probably going to request a measurement here.
You mentioned earlier you're not used to seeing the chains that far off the field. They are quite a ways off the field.
Yeah, it's really tough to tell. Obviously, we're looking at it from an angle. We're not looking at it from right down the yard line.
So the chains are coming out. The referees called for it. It was 4th and 2. Kopetz into the middle.
So they spotted the ball at what looks to be the 3-yard line, which is where we envisioned the ball needed to get to. And even here, they're not bringing the chains up to where the ball is placed.
Yeah,
Okay, now they are. Oh, it's short. It is short. That'll be a turnover on downs. Once again, the Gresham Gophers will have the ball
my thought
deep in their own territory.
My thought about going for it has its risk, and that's one of them right there.
It certainly does, but now it's up to the Lincoln defense. Maybe a safety can get the first points on the board. How about that? I bet that would pump the team up.
Exactly. So that's 2 plays they went for it on 4th down, both times with Kopetz. Both times they've come up just a bit short.
So Lincoln remains scoreless. On the season. Both of these teams 0-1, looking for their first win of the year.
Gresham did get 9 points, losing 13-9 to Franklin.
So now a tough ask for the Gophers deep in their own territory. But it will be 1st and 10 as they'll be moving right to left. We have a pause in the action. Not sure what the holdup is here.
I don't know. The referee is talking to both teams in the middle of their line.
1st down.
Okay, now we are ready to go. Quarterback awaits the snap in his own end zone. Handoff, finds a hole up the middle, breaks free across the 15 near the 20-yard line.
17 yards on the carry, number 21, Dominic Brumbello.
Brumbello with a big run and immediately gets the Gophers out of a bad situation. It's now 1st and 10.
First and 10.
Just over 6 minutes remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Gophers on the move. Here's a handoff across the 25 up to the 29-yard line. That should be another 1st down for Gresham.
Ethan Hempstead, excellent run for about 10 yards.
Number 13, Ethan Hempstead, the senior, on the carry. Another 1st down.
And they are going to move the chains. So all of a sudden, the ground game looking pretty good for Gresham. Lincoln has looked excellent against the run throughout the early parts of this season, but giving up back-to-back plays of 10 yards or more.
Both of those quick hitters into the center of the line.
Here's the snap, handoff, and there's the Lincoln staunch defense. Tackled for a loss of maybe 1 on the play. Number 13 on the carry, Hempstead.
On the tackle that time, clogging up the middle was Tyler Smith. 6'3", 240.
Second down. Low snap, under pressure, and sacked.
Kaufman feeling the pressure. Quarterback sack for the Cardinals.
Kopetz.
23
Oh, I'm sorry.
for the defense. All right, Dave. We're going to go to the pronunciation guide. Kusha Mira Rabshahi.
Okay.
I hope I pronounced that right.
I think you did. Mirab Shahi.
But an excellent play by that young man.
And he's a sophomore, by the way. 6 foot 175.
Third down, little dump off pass, has it, and has some room in front, and stays on his feet across the 40, and third and long, and the Gresham Gophers convert.
The pass from Kaufman to Hempstead.
Finally tackled out of bounds.
He needed 21 and he got,
8.
well, wait a minute. He got
Nice gain of about 20.
about 20. It's 3rd and 1. That was not a first down.
Oh, they did not give him the first down.
He stepped out of bounds here.
I see.
Now it's
Fans-
Gophers at 4 and 1.
Fans getting into it. Little stomping of the feet here.
Go, Gresham! Watch the blitz!
Gophers at
Fourth
and
down. Big, oh, and there's a jump on the Lincoln defense, and that's going to cost them. Number 59,
1. Jackson Lindbergh.
Jackson Lindbergh jumps on 4th and 1. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, first down for Gresham.
5-yard penalty, first down, Gophers, 43-yard line.
At the 43-yard line, 1st and 10, Gophers. No score, 4:03 left to go here in the first half.
Pace certainly moving a little quicker than we saw last week. 1st and 10 from the 43, near hash mark. Gresham moving right to left in those silver helmets, blue jerseys. Complete in the flat and misses the first tackle across midfield. Jorgensen with a catch and run of 11 yards. Another first down for the Gophers.
Kaufman complete to Jorgensen, Tyler Jorgensen, the junior, for the first down. Gophers started this play, remember, at the 3-yard line.
They have been moving the ball with ease and being helped by a big penalty on the Lincoln defense. Batted down back into the arms of the quarterback.
Now, you understand, that's a pass attempt and a completion.
Completed to himself for negative 6 yards.
Because the defender batted it up in the air.
I know there was a play in the NFL this year where you saw that happen and the quarterback threw it, which is illegal.
Right. You can't throw it twice on that same play.
And I'm trying to remember who the player was, but I remember it happening, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I want to say it might have been Tom Brady, but that doesn't sound right. I'm sure he knows better. All right, from the 48, here's the snap. Quarterback drops back under pressure and evades a tackle and then slides, takes a shot at the end.
Flag on the play.
And we do have a flag.
Now, I thought the quarterback was going to be sacked. The penalties against the Gophers, I'm not sure what that preliminary signal was.
That's a tough ask for a defender.
The defender
as the quarterback is going into the slide, you're already in a motion to make the tackle.
Yep.
So it looks worse than it actually is, in my opinion.
Quarterback, somebody had his jersey, he got free, got up to the line of scrimmage, and he was going to slide. A defensive player went right over the top of him. That could have been a whole lot worse.
Okay, it looks like a holding penalty that is declined.
It's going to bring up 3rd down.
Okay.
And 16.
So 3rd and long upcoming for Gresham.
I was certainly concerned about Kaufman because that could have been really bad.
Absolutely. He popped up quick. So good to see that. Kaufman looks to be just fine. Quarterback drops back, and he hands it off, a delayed handoff, and they find a hole up the middle. Still going to be well short of the first down after about 7 or 8 yards.
Got back to the original line of scrimmage. Now it's 4th and 10. They'll punt the ball.
4th and 10 from the 46-yard line. And the punt team coming out on the field. Number 4, Jack Nealer, into kick, and Lowe looks to be back to receive. And if you remember, on the last offensive possession for the Cardinals, Lowe limped off the field, so he looks to be okay. Here's a much better punt this time. End over end, takes a bounce and goes out of bounds at about the 25, let's say the 26-yard line. And the Cardinals have a minute 34 with no timeouts remaining to try to get on the board here, as it's still scoreless late in the second quarter.
Very high punt, but got some positive yardage out of that time. In fact, the net on that punt was about 20 yards.
Let's take a moment to tell you about some more of our sponsors. Wacker Remodel. When you look to remodel or upgrade your home, you want to work with a trusted, certified remodeling professional. Homeowners in the Portland metro area have selected Wacker Remodel for over 30 years to provide them with efficient, high-quality craftsmanship for all phases of remodeling. Call Scott Wacker today at 503-539-9650 for a free consultation. Go Cardinal football. Cardinals have a minute 34 to work with. First down. Here's the snap. Pitch. Far side of the field. Turning upfield is Low. He's got a first down and more outside the numbers and knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Justice Lowe on the carry for 19 on the sweep play to the left.
Looked like initially they were going to spot at the 45, now the 43, but still a big carry by Lowe. And I said they were going to have to move quickly. They did just that.
So give Lowe 17 yards on that carry.
A big chunky yardage that also stops the clock at 1:26. And in motion, handoff up the middle, finding a hole that's going to be about 6 yards up to the 49, just shy of midfield.
Gain is 6, second down 4.
2nd and 4. Clock continues to run, under a minute now remaining. Once again, the Cardinals have no timeouts remaining. Used 2 in the first quarter, 1 early here in the second. Quarterback drops back, looks over the middle. Now fleshing out to the right, has a man deep, but incomplete. Just out of the reach
Intended for Kopets.
of Kopets.
You know, and he might have a claim I was interfered with because a defender had one of his arms around him.
He was actually double covered, but had a step on each of them. And like Dave said, he was looking for a flag, didn't get it. May have had the case, but nonetheless, clock stopped now at 40 seconds. So we haven't seen the quarterback for the Cardinals, Mario Ambrose, throw the ball very often, but did have a chance there. Falls incomplete. 3rd down. Handoff, trying to get to the outside edge, and gets enough for the first down, it looks like, up to the 45-yard line.
Stop the clock to move the chains.
Across midfield, so still some time to work with. I'm watching the line judge on the near side. I'm noticing he consistently spots it at one place and then reconfigures based on what they see on the other side. Of course, the ball is on that side of the field, so they have a better judge of things. But they do end up spotting it at the 46-yard line. 1st and 10, 33.9 seconds. I believe he went out of bounds, so the clock continues to be stopped. And in motion, they hand it off to the motion man. It's low. He turns up field, spins, falls forward up to the 41. And they're going to have to move quickly if they're going to have any chance of getting on the board.
20 seconds.
Do they spike it here, or are they just going to let the clock run out?
I'd spike it here and then talk about another play.
Well, they're taking some time to set things up. 2 receivers on the near side, and they're going to hand it off. And it's no gain, and that's going to do it.
Solomon Wells on the carry.
Wells gets about a yard on that final play of the first half. And we are scoreless after 2 quarters here from Gresham High School. No score, a couple turnovers on each side. Each team has threatened, but Lincoln has been unable to score. And for the Gresham side of the ball, they've moved the ball pretty well at times as well, but haven't really been able to come up with that big play to get on the board.
Both teams have shown flashes of being able to move the ball, particularly on the ground, but they can't sustain it.
Has been trouble for each offense, but you do want to give credit to each defense keeping that 0 on the board. Before we take a moment and step aside for a halftime here, we do want to mention some special thanks to our meal sponsors over the past 2 weeks. Thank yous to the Prince, Hendren, and Smith families, as well as the Scott Wacker family, and McDonald's on West Burnside, which is locally owned and operated by Jimmy and Jamie Monroe. So special thanks to those folks for supporting Lincoln Cardinal football. We're going to step aside for about 10 minutes here on Oregon Sports Beat. We do want to remind you we are still scoreless here from Gresham High School, where the Gresham Gophers are playing host to the Lincoln Cardinals.
like a survey. Yeah. Here, yeah, in case break out, then they do. Because I thought it was going to be the question, you know. Lincoln is our sponsor. And I got the camera. Yeah, they can't. I don't think they can meet locker room. Oh, that's a little bit lenient on the social distancing outside. That was last Saturday. I think I had one in the car. One in the building. Did I have one? I don't have it with me. I have a portable battery. And it charges. It looks like we're not full bar. Yeah. What happened?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gresham High School, where we're just a few minutes away from second half action. Shane Downey, joined by Dave Hall, bringing you all the action here on Oregon Sports Beat. Week 2 of the Lincoln Cardinal season, and Dave, they're still looking for their first points of the year, as we are still scoreless here in awaiting the start of the third quarter.
You know, and I opened my big mouth about going for a field goal. And
it's a much nicer evening.
well, we got gloves on now.
Yeah, I did put some gloves on at halftime, but still much more comfortable than what we experienced a week ago out at Wilson High School. And the biggest thing you pointed out to me at halftime, no wind. There was lots of wind in that game last week, and that certainly may have affected the field, but affects the comfort of those in the stands as well.
I believe this is the warmest day of the year, and I think the weather's going to take a nosedive over the next week. Well, not nosedive, but it'll be 10 degrees cooler.
We do want to remind you we will be back at Wilson High School next week, where the Cardinals will be taking on Wilson a week from today. I believe that is an early afternoon game, 12 or 12:30.
I think it is one of those games at that point in time. PIL playing doubleheaders, and they're playing a lot of games at Wilson, so.
You can see Wilson warming up on the field as we're just a few minutes away from second half action. Some highlights of the first half. We did see some good defense and defensive plays by the Lincoln Cardinals. We did see a fumble picked up for a turnover and a couple sacks by the Lincoln defense. And their defense overall has been excellent here in these first two games. They, of course, did lose in week 1, but only giving up those 13 points against Jefferson.
So while we say that the Cardinal have only scored, well, have not scored at all, they've given up in 6 quarters 13 points.
Strong defensive output overall as the Gresham Gophers in those silver jerseys, silver helmets, blue jerseys, white numbers on their backs. They will be kicking off to begin the second half, I believe.
Tell you a quick little story. My son played on the Gresham football team, and he was not very big. And he came to me after a couple of weeks, and he said, Dad, I'm not getting any playing time. How can I get some playing time? And I said, Jeff, go to the coach. Tell him you want to be on the kickoff team. So he went to the coach, and he said, I want to be on the kickoff team. And they put him on the kickoff team.
There
so
you go.
I come here to watch the first game, and he's out on the kickoff team. And I look down, and I realize what a horrible mistake I've made, because he's about half the size of everybody else.
Well, I know they've changed the rules on kickoffs
Right.
over the last few years to try to clean up risks on that side of the ball. A lot of injuries happening on special teams. And you can see Lincoln is ready to go, and Gresham has yet to take the field. There's still about a minute, just over a minute on the clock, but Lincoln awaiting the kickoff.
I talked to the Gresham coach about the situation. I don't know if you saw it or not. The schools can only play football if they have in-school classes. If they're not in school classes, they can play one game, a 7-on-7 game. And David Douglas and Centennial played that game Wednesday night.
I was not aware of that specification.
7-on-7 touch.
Not quite the same game.
I know a couple of the coaches that I've talked to about that situation just shook their head.
Well, folks are slowly getting vaccinated here in the state of Oregon, and they did prioritize teachers in those first couple groups. So
Steve Roberts right ahead of us put his hands up there when you said that. Steve's a teacher.
yeah, the whole crew here has taken that step, except me. I'm not quite qualified yet. I would love to. I'll be first in line when I'm eligible.
Gresham set to kick up.
So Gresham will be kicking off, kicking right to left, and no wind to speak of. And we are happy about that. And look at this.
I didn't think they were going to kick it then. They were too close, but
Little fake out and then back to a traditional formation. Here's the kick, line drive, takes a bounce and takes a friendly bounce and picked up there at the 5-yard line. And now running parallel to the field and taken down inside the 5. And what a start for Gresham, and a nice play by their special teams unit. And Lincoln will have a long way to go to move the ball down the field here to begin the second half.
a low driving kick. It went through all the players. Lowe picked it up and tried to head out to the left and turn the corner. Tackled back, almost tackled for a safety.
That is a dangerous place to start your return, but it looked like the ball had about deadened there. So decided to pick it up and take a shot, but ended up losing a yard or two from where the ball was picked up. And now the Lincoln offense will start things out inside the 5-yard line. But we saw Gresham battle out of this field position, and here's a handoff up the middle. And that's near the first down marker, so that's an excellent way to start the first possession of the second half. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Kopetz on that carry.
Kopetz just powering his way up the middle. Ambrose goes to the sideline for the play, now back. Signaling to his receivers, now under center. 2 receivers on the near side. They're going to hand it off, find a hole up the middle. That'll be a first down.
And off to Wells.
Wells up to the 15-yard line, about 5 yards on the carry.
Wells had some good carries in the first half. Solomon Wells started tonight at running back.
1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Over a minute off the clock already. Just a couple plays ran by the Lincoln offense. They want to get their first points of the board. Still a long way to go to march down the field. And the ball is loose. Lincoln recovers after a 5-yard loss on the play. And it looked like the exchange just unable to get it in the belly of the running back.
Second down and 15 with the loss of 5 on that play.
Some Saturday night football. 6A high school action. Ambrose under center, has the snap, drops back, has a man over the middle, but underthrown, intended for Justice Lowe.
Third down.
You know, a great tradition in athletics here at Gresham. They did win a state football championship in the 80s. They have the most 6A volleyball championships of any school in the state. They have 9.
Very impressive. 3rd and 15. I'll tell you one big plus of playing Saturday night versus the usual Friday night for high school football. We don't have to worry about traffic.
There you go.
That's been a huge plus. Getting to and from, not too difficult. Ambrose waits the snap, drops back, looks to his right. Rolling right now, throws it deep. Lowe is there, and it's off his shoulder.
Very close for Lowe, dropped incomplete. That's going to bring up 4th down, 15.
Defended by number 11, Dawson Coder. It was good coverage, but Lowe had a chance. Unable to pull it in, incomplete. It's 4th and long, and the punt team coming onto the field for the Lincoln Cardinals. And Coder is going to be back to receive.
Lowe did a little hitch and go that time. That's how he got by the defender. But Coder caught up and made a great coverage on that.
Get in there. Get in there. Block it.
Gresham should get good field position. Coder standing at the 35.
Lincoln was short a man, and now the 11th player on the field in position. Snap looks good. We have a flag, and the kick is tipped at the line, and it's going to roll out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Let's see what the flag is. It's great field position for Gresham. Let's see if they decline this penalty. Not sure what it is, but we'll see.
There's 9 net yards on the punt.
Yeah, we've seen both teams struggle with punting the ball so far here today.
You know, punting is something, you get a rhythm in it, and you get the kick away and everything. I've watched both these punters tonight, and they're having trouble with timing.
I think perhaps more than any other position, I think kicking in football, there's so many armchair quarterbacks, if you will, that see a missed field goal, whether it's Saturday or Sunday or whatever level of football you're watching, and say, how does this guy have a job? This can't be that hard. But if you think about it, there's only a couple dozen guys in the world that can do that job successfully.
Exactly.
It is not easy.
See how many coaches go get kickers from the soccer team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and this ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete, and Kopetz is pumped up after getting his left mid on the ball.
Too bad he couldn't tip that and get it himself, because that would have been a score.
Yeah, nothing but green in front of him. Here on this artificial surface at Gresham High School, you see the track around the field.
Before they put the artificial surface in here, this field was legendary in Multnomah County for being a mud bowl.
It is nice and dry here this evening. Of course, playing in March, things a little different. Lots of movement on the line, and you do see the whistle. I think that's going to be on the offense.
The whole offensive line moved, and then the center snapped the ball.
Second down 15 from 30.
Mark off the 5.
That penalty was everybody but the center.
Everybody. And only because he hadn't snapped the ball.
Yep.
First and 15. I'm sorry, second and 15.
So both teams' offenses having some highlights, but being kept out of the end zone. Quarterback drops back, little dump-off pass, has a man at the 30. Now to the 25, it dives forward across the 20, complete to number 13, Ethan Hempstead. He's had a couple big plays here today.
Third down 4 on the 19.
One nice run and 2 nice catches for Hempstead.
Up to the 20-yard line. 3rd and 4. Just over 9 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Still no score. The Gresham Gophers playing host to the Lincoln Cardinals. Shotgun snap. Aired out over the middle, incomplete, but we have a flag. The defender was draped over the intended receiver.
A little bit of contact. We'll see what the call is.
Yeah, that's likely to be defensive pass interference. The defender was, in fact, had his arms around the intended receiver. Evans was the intended receiver. Ethan Evans.
Penalty indicated against the defense.
It is, in fact, against the Lincoln Cardinals.
I heard him say offensive pass interference. March off half the distance to the goal.
That spots the ball at the 10-yard line, so it'll be 1st and goal for the Gophers.
Pass interference, automatic first down, half the distance to the goal line. Ball is up inside the 10, so it's 1st and goal.
First and goal.
Gresham, an excellent chance to get on the board here, but Lincoln's defense has come up big a few times so far here today. Zach Kaufman awaits the shotgun snap, has it, immediately looks to his right, airs it out over the middle, and it's off the hands of a defender for the Lincoln Cardinals. That was number 9 for the defense.
Mario Ambrose.
Ambrose, who of course is the starting quarterback, almost coming up with an interception.
Quick slant pattern that time, and Ambrose got his hand in there and deflected it away.
So it'll be second and goal. Clock stopped at 8:29. Both teams with a fresh set of 3 timeouts here to start the second half.
Second and 10.
Kaufman signaling. Defense was on the move. Here's a handoff, and that's going to be a tackle for a loss in the backfield.
They'll try a quick handoff to Hempstead.
Hempstead, nowhere to go.
Defense was there.
A trio of defenders
Loss of 3.
for the Lincoln Cardinals.
Third down goal.
Able to make the stop. Looked like Riley Prince was one of those individuals.
He was at the bottom of the pile. Prince, a junior offensive lineman, 6'2", 225, stopped up the middle that time.
You know, Ambrose playing defensive back, it really is a testament to the lack of numbers on the Lincoln side of the ball. Here's a pass that's caught near the end zone, stretched and kept out short of the end zone. And now we have a big play.
Lucas Simmons gets it down to
Simmons up to the 1-yard line.
That was complete to Lucas Simmons that time, the senior wide receiver, and down to the 1.
And it's 4th down. If the Lincoln Cardinals can make a stop here, the game will remain tied and Lincoln will regain control.
Well, now the scoreboard shows first down.
I am confident that is not correct this time. Sometimes
Right.
the scoreboard tricks me.
The chain, or the down marker over there says 4th.
It is 4th down. Here's the snap. Quarterback sneak. And did he keep him out? It looks like Lincoln might have kept him out of the end zone.
for Kaufman.
No official signal.
No signal at all from either side of the line so far.
I'd say no official signal is good for Lincoln, and they are signaling themselves now
Ball looks to be
that they are
stopped
taking
just
control
short.
of the ball.
It is short.
So
A turnover.
How about that? We've talked about the Lincoln run defense
That's a turnover
throughout
on
this
downs.
season, and it's another turnover on downs. They were playing great on the defensive side of the ball, and now you have a tough test for the Lincoln offense to march 99 yards down to the other side.
The Cardinal had been very good on the interior portion of the defensive line, and that came up with a stop there. It was 4th and 1, and Cardinal take over on downs, 1st and 10.
So Zach Kaufman, quarterback of the Gophers, unable to convert on 4th down. And now Ambrose will be under center in the end zone. Quick handoff and a short gain, but gets him out of harm's way up to the 5-yard line. So 4 yards on the carry.
Second up.
And gives the Lincoln offense some breathing room here on 2nd and 5. Maybe 4, excuse me.
Inside the 5, so it's 2nd and 6.
Quarterback under center. Hands off to Lowe, who turns the corner, or at least tries to, but the defense able to sniff it out. Knocked out of bounds. No gain on the play, it looks like.
You know, and the Cardinal have had more success running in the middle of the line than they have sweeps to either side.
Looks like he lost a couple. 3rd down and 7.
I say he lost a yard. 3rd and 7 upcoming. So a big play for the Lincoln offense. We've seen their punting unit struggle, and this would be a tough part of the field to punt from. A lot of commotion in the middle, but he breaks free, and that's going to be a 1st down. Up to the 18-yard line for Brady Kopetz.
Carries across the 15.
15-yard pickup that time for Kopetz.
1st and 10 Cardinals.
I saw a lot of white jerseys moving in different directions near that line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden Kopetz escapes them all.
Kopetz, the junior, 6'4", 215. Hard runner, plays stout on defense.
Up to the 18-yard line, 1st and 10. Ambrose has the ball, looks to his right, has low, it's caught there across the 30, now 40, midfield, and he turns on the Jets. 20, 10, touchdown Cardinals. And the Cardinals are on the board. For the first time this year, they take a 6-0 lead.
You know, we talked about the Cardinals not scoring, and they just went 82 yards on a pass from Ambrose to Lowe. But you saw when Lowe caught that ball, he was still in traffic, and he just turned on the afterburner and just ran right by everybody.
Justice Lowe, once he got across midfield, he turned it on another gear and was in easily. And if you remember, I said they were going to have to march down 99 yards to get some points on the board, and they did it.
In 4 plays.
Yeah, they made it look easy, especially on that last play. We see the talent of Justice Lowe on that catch and run.
That coming at 4:18 left to go in the 3rd.
Low snap, here's a kick, line drive, up and through. So at another point on the board, it is 7-0. Lincoln takes the lead. I believe it's Dylan Mangus with the kick.
He has been doing some of the kickoffs. I think that's who it was, too. Dylan Mangus is number
6.
6.
And he was pumped up after that kick. I know we question, well, we've yet to see a field goal attempt, but Mangus looked pretty good there. Of course, point after attempt and kick or field goal, a little different, but has some talent.
You know, that last play was a designed slant play, and it was over the middle about 10 yards to Lowe. And like I said, Lowe had 2 defenders around him, and he just turned around and went into high gear and outran everybody. By the time he was at the end zone, he was 10 yards ahead of everybody.
Yeah, you definitely saw the defenders realizing they had no chance at about the 20-yard line.
Lowe, a junior, 6'1", 182. And the Cardinal are on the board for 2021.
I'm sure they are pumped up and now taking their first lead of the season. 7-0 over the Gophers. Here's the kickoff with 4:18. Diagonal kick that takes a bounce. Going out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. And think about this, Dave. Gresham was at the 1-yard line, 4th and goal. Lincoln defense puts up a stop, and within a minute, Lincoln able to go 99 yards for the score. So the momentum has swung in their direction.
That ball went out of bounds. We'll kick it again. They'll back it up 5 yards and kick it again.
So sometimes you see this penalty decline, sometimes it's accepted. So Gresham choosing to have them re-kick after the penalty.
Mangus will set the ball down on the 40. Gresham receivers move up 5 yards.
Move it back to the 35.
I'm sorry, move it back to the 35.
Kickoff went out of bounds, 5-yard penalty, and they're going to kick it again.
Was a short kick.
We'll try it again. There's the whistle. Here it comes. That one is a little more centered and is caught at the 29-yard line. Now running laterally and trying to find a corner, but nowhere to go. And dragged down by number 32 of the Lincoln Cardinals. That's Gus Togney. Another defender in on the play as well.
It was Mario Ambrose.
Ambrose there. A dual tackle. So now the Gresham Gophers get the ball trailing for the first time in the ball game from the 33-yard line, moving right to left from the near hash mark, 1st and 10.
Interestingly enough, the clock never ran on that kickoff.
Quarterback drops back, looks to his left, has a man there, caught near the line of scrimmage, and in trouble. He might have lost a yard on the play.
That's Hempstead.
Second out.
Hempstead may have lost 2.
Lost 4. Well, wait a minute. You're right. Lost 2.
So it should be 2nd and 12. Under 4 minutes here in the third quarter. Receiver split on each side, looking to the right on a slant pattern, and the ball is in and out of the hands. It looks like they're going to say it was a complete pass.
You left out one in. It was in, out, and back in. Bobbled the ball, came down with it. A pass. Well, now it's
yeah,
back
so
up.
it looks like they're calling it an incomplete pass.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
He must have dropped it to the ground as he was going to the
Yeah,
ground.
it looked like he was bobbling it the whole way to me, and they must have saw it the same way.
So it's 3rd and 14. The receiver was Evans that time, Ethan Evans, the big tight end. And he did catch it, bobble it, went to the ground, and the ball must have came loose as he was going to the ground.
Quarterback drops back under pressure, rolls to his left, pump fake, and then out of bounds, incomplete. Once again intended for Evans, and it'll be 4th and long. So a nice defensive stop once again by the Lincoln defense.
Evans, 6'4", just not tall enough to go get that one.
It took me a second to pick up the names across the backs of the players. Well, they're not names at all. Every jersey just says Gresham.
Teamwork.
And we have a whistle before the kickoff, or the punt, excuse me.
Was a nice punt, the best punt of the night.
It absolutely was the best punt. It looks like it was a timeout called by Gresham.
Well, let's see. No, I think going to mark off a penalty here.
No, you are correct.
5-yard penalty against Gresham. Ball spawned at the 26. And we'll kick again.
I didn't see the call. It either had to be.
May have been delay a game.
I was going to say delay a game.
Maybe Gresham was trying to get a timeout before the delay game. They're going to let it take a bounce. It takes a friendly bounce for Gresham, and that is indeed the best punt we've seen tonight. Lincoln will start things out at the 29-yard line with 2:46 remaining here in the third quarter.
You said it, 35 yards net on the punt.
Let's take a moment to tell you about some of our sponsors. Phil's Meat Market and Delicatessen. When you want the highest quality meats, seafood, and sandwiches, come into Feet's Meat Market and Delicatessen, Portland's original neighborhood butcher shop, located in the Uptown Shopping Center on Northwest 23rd Place and Burnside. Also, John Bruce of Guild Mortgage. When you are making as major a financial decision as buying a home, you want it done with the best. John Bruce of Guild Mortgage has been supporting the Lincoln football community and providing home mortgages for over 20 years. Call him today at 503-635-8997. Go Cardinal football. Make it happen. 2:46 on the clock. 1st and 10. Lincoln First possession since scoring their first points of the season, and Wells turns a corner on the far side of the field, gets up to the 35-yard line, 6-yard gain on the play.
Good speed by Wells to get to the outside that time and pick up those 6 yards, 2nd and 4.
Second down. We saw the biggest play of the season for Lincoln, leading to points on the board. Connection from Ambrose to Lowe. And a run on the far side of the field is going to be enough for the first down.
And to number 1, Lowe.
Lowe gets the job done again.
On the far side.
Ran a sweep play to the left. Lowe looked outside, so I wasn't going to get out there. Turned quickly and darted upfield and turned that into a nice gain. Gain of 8 yards.
First and 10 from the far hash. 3 receivers stacked on the near side. We haven't seen that too often. They decide to run it up the middle. More power football from the Lincoln Cardinal offense. That's Kopetz, who gets about 6 yards on the carry. Just shy of midfield. The ball spotted above that Gresham G at midfield here at Gresham High School.
Looks like a Packer G, doesn't it?
Pretty close.
1:45 left to go in the third quarter.
Ambrose under center. Another handoff to Kopetz, and he's going to power his way up to the 47. I was close the first time.
Ball's carried.
That's enough for a first down.
Down at the 47. That'll move the chains. First and 10.
First and 10 for the Lincoln offense. All of a sudden, the Lincoln offense past 2 possessions looks pretty good.
Well, I think they backed off a little bit, and they want to make sure that Lowe doesn't get by him again.
Yeah, respecting the pass is allowing the run game to take advantage.
You know, they had all of their corners were up close, and they've moved back.
Ambrose drops back, airs it out on the far or near side, caught. Number 2 makes the grab. Iwananga.
Dylan Iwanaga, the sophomore. Nice gain that time.
7 up to the 40. 2nd and 3.
2nd and 3, so
they had a receiver going deep that time, and Iwanaga ran an under route and was open.
So they're really testing the Gresham defense these last couple possessions.
And Ambrose doing a good job of putting the ball on the money.
Absolutely. So up to the 40-yard line, 3 yards to go here on 2nd down. Ambrose under center. You see that left foot come back. That signals for the motion man to get started, and Kopetz just stays on his feet and is running backwards and keeps going all the way up to the 25-yard line.
15 yards on the carry for Kopetz, and probably the last half of that running backwards with defenders hanging on him.
Just digging his cleats into the field, pushing off that heel.
30 seconds left to go in the third.
We don't have a play clock. I think they're going to get a playoff before the end of the third quarter, although maybe they don't have to. Ambrose communicating with his teammates in the backfield, and it looks like they're just going to let the clock run. And they do, in fact, decide to let the clock run out, and that will do it here in the third quarter. Lincoln does get on the board. They lead it 7-0.
Please follow Gresham Athletics on Twitter by going to the account at.
Let's take a moment to tell you about some more of our sponsors. Washman, unlimited transactionless car washes, only $39.99 per month, with Armor All Tire Shine and Clear Ceramic Seal Ultra Shine and Protection. Wash it at Washman Car Washes today. Trailblazer Foods, founded in 1984, is one of the Western United States' largest producers of preserves, jellies, and other sweetener and fruit-based products. Trailblazer Foods wishes Lincoln Cardinal football great success for 2021. Call them today at 503-666-5800. Check them out online at trailblazerfoods.com.
A touchdown pass from Mario Ambrose to Justice Lowe, 82 yards, coming 4:08 of the third quarter, and that's our score in this game. The point after touchdown by Mangus, and that is a 7-0 game for the Cardinal.
And Cardinals will have the ball 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line as we switch sides of the field for this fourth quarter. Ambrose under center, has the snap. Here's the handoff. Wells finds a hole up the middle across the 20. They're going to spot it at the 20-yard line. 5 yards on the carry. 2nd and 5. So Solomon Wells getting an opportunity here today and has looked pretty good, Dave.
Want to invite you to join us Monday night, 6:45, at the gym at Central Catholic for Central Catholic and Barlow in Mount Hood College or Mount Hood Conference volleyball.
Low in motion, gets the ball, turns upfield, gets enough for a first down, escapes the tackle, stays on his feet up to the 9-yard line.
Low carries down inside the 10.
And all of a sudden, Lincoln threatening for more points on the board. It is 1st and goal inside the 10.
It just looks to me like the thing that's changed here with Lincoln since the Low touchdown, confidence.
Absolutely. It seems to have opened up the playbook a little bit as well.
Exactly. Had some short passes, had some nice Justice Low runs there.
Ambrose and Wells in the backfield, doing a great job. Handoff up the middle. About 4 yards on the carry for Kopetz.
2nd and goal.
2nd down.
Cardinal knocking on the door again. Lead 7-0. 10:25 left to go in the game.
Receivers split on each side. Kopetz, another handoff, another up the middle, and that's going to be in for a score. Kopetz, 6 more points on the board.
And a 6-yard run for Kopetz.
And Lincoln takes a 13-0 lead over the Gresham Gophers, and that was the score Lincoln lost by last week when they took on Jefferson.
That coming at 10:10 left to go in the game. Point after touchdown, that'll be Mangus.
Mangus in to kick. Ambrose the holder. Snap looks good. Kick, line drive is through. And it's a 14-0 lead in favor of the Lincoln Cardinals.
The ball doesn't have to go high. It just has to go higher than the crossbar.
Absolutely. It did the job there. Let's tell you about our friends at Wacker Remodel. When you look to remodel or upgrade your home, you want to work with a trusted, certified remodeling professional. Homeowners in the Portland metro area have selected Wacker Remodel for over 30 years to provide them with efficient, high-quality craftsmanship for all phases of remodeling. Call Scott Wacker today at 503-539-9650 for a free consultation. Go Cardinal football. Dave, the Lincoln Cardinals, as far as point differential on the season, they're up by 1.
They are 14-13.
Some miscommunication on the kickoff team. Hear and see a lot of movement there.
I think they were lined up for a kickoff one way, and they're going to kick it the other.
That's going to be caught. Fair catch at the 40.
And there's a flag. The receiver fair caught that ball. You can't touch him. And one of the Gresham players, even after he caught it, bumped into him.
So we see a lot of confusion there on special teams. So that's definitely one thing. Even if Lincoln comes away with a victory here today, one thing they can work on going into week 3. .10:06 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
One thing I wanted to say quickly, this is a well-refereed game tonight, too.
They're going to pick up that flag.
They pick up the flag.
On the 40, first and 10.
They're saying then the contact was incidental. It was not intentional. Maybe pushed by somebody.
Handoff up the middle. That's going to be good for a first down and staying on his feet. That's a 15-yard gain for Gresham.
Hempstead on the carry for 15.
Ethan Hempstead. Another big play for him.
He might be their most effective offensive player tonight. Let's see. And he's a senior. Clock running. 9:39 left to go in the game.
Here's the snap, fake the handoff. Completes the pass. Evades its tackle.
Gets about 10 to the 35.
That should be enough for a first down for Ethan Evans. And Gresham moving the ball quickly. And they're going to need to. Both teams with all 3 timeouts remaining. .35-yard line, first and 10. Quarterback drops back. He's under pressure. Stays on his feet. Rolling right and finally sacked for a big loss. Number 23 of the Lincoln defense able to make that sack. And
Great speed that time.
being tested again. I believe that's his second sack of the ball game for Kusha Mirarab Shahi.
And he showed great speed. Kaufman was able to evade the first tackler who got back there.
So a big loss and another big play by the Lincoln defense. Second and long.
22, second and 22. Clock just about at 8 minutes to go in the game. And Gresham wants to take a timeout.
So Gresham calls their first timeout of the second half. They'll have 2 remaining here with 8:03 on the clock. We do want to take this moment to mention a few special thanks to our meal sponsors over the past 2 weeks. Thank you to the Prince, Hendren, and Smith families, as well as the Scott Wacker family and McDonald's on West Burnside, which is locally owned and operated by Jimmy and Jamie Monroe. And we want to thank you, wherever you may be watching or listening, for joining us here on Oregon Sports Beat. I'm Shane Downey, joined by Dave Hall, bringing you all the action here from Gresham High School, week 2 of football action. We didn't know for sure if we were going to get this season at all, but we are happy to be here and bringing you all the action, as Lincoln has a 14-0 lead here in the fourth quarter with 8:03 remaining.
In 2 weeks, Oregon Sports Beat has broadcast 8 high school games.
All sports
Now all the time.
playing at the moment, and we see some movement on the offense of Gresham.
Ethan Evans, number 87, the tight end, took a couple of steps before the snap.
Saw some finger pointing there by Riley Prince of the defense.
Now it's going to be 2nd and 27.
So Gresham was on the move, but not doing themselves any favors. A sack and a penalty, moving the ball backwards. Quarterback under pressure again. Rolls to his left, being chased from behind, and finally dumps it off incomplete. Intended for Evans.
Kaufman was running for his life back there that time. Boy, the Cardinal have some speed rushers.
So at 3rd and very long still. About 27 yards.
By the way, that was Mira Rabshahi again that had the pressure on Kaufman. And he's a sophomore. Boy, he's got great speed.
Quarterback looks to his left, has a man in the flat, and he's going to be taken down for a loss.
Pass complete to Simmons.
I think that's Justice Lowe out there.
Not there.
Simmons made the grab,
And the punt team will take the field.
It is Justice
and
Lowe.
Lowe makes the tackle for Lincoln.
Wow, now it's 4th and, well, the scoreboard says 27. I think it's more than that.
Very well played by the Lincoln defense here tonight, and Lowe will be back to receive.
It's actually 32, 4th and 32.
Here's the punt.
High spiraling punt.
Wobbly, but will take a bounce
Takes a real nice
and
bounce out of
roll
bounds. Nice job by the
out of bounds
special
inside the
teams.
30.
Gresham is having such trouble punting the ball. The last 2 punts now, the net, 34 and 33.
Very solid, and Lowe just lets that bounce and go out of bounds, does not attempt to return it. And if you're the Lincoln offense now, 7:09 on the clock here in the fourth quarter, leading by 2 scores. I probably start to play pretty conservatively. Keep the ball on the ground, continue to have the clock run.
7:09 left to go in the game.
Biggest key for Lincoln right now, don't turn the ball over. Especially this part of the field. Ambrose waits the snap, under center. Has it, handoff. Trying to get to the outside. Lowe turns the corner. We know he has some jets across the 40. Knocked out of bounds at the 45. And Lowe, a 15-yard run on the first play.
First and 10.
And that'll move the chains.
Boy, Lowe has frightening speed.
Yeah, we've pointed out that there's not a lot of seniors on this roster, but you can see there's a lot of talent from the sophomores and juniors. So a good future beyond this year for the Lincoln Cardinals. And presumably they'll be playing, there won't be a long layoff, or at least not as long as they're used to, between this season and next.
Exactly.
Handoff and finds some room on the right side. Evades the first tackle, powers his way across the first down marker and more. Up to the 37-yard line, Brady Kopetz.
First down.
16 yards on that carry by Lowe, 16 yards on that carry by Kopetz. 32 yards on the last 2 carries. And the Cardinal are going to keep it on the ground.
Keep it on the ground, keep possession, and keep that clock moving. Everything going well for them lately. Far side of the field. Moving right to left is the Lincoln offense. 1st and 10. 6:20 on the clock. Ambrose under center. Handoff. Short gain up the middle. Up to the 35-yard line. 3 yards on the carry.
Gain of 4 to the 35.
I think that was Kopetz.
Kopetz, along with Wells, getting the bulk of the carries from the backfield. Of course, we see that sweep play run quite a few times. Lowe getting the bulk of that work. And Gresham calling their second timeout. So they will only have 1 remaining with 5:53 on the clock. And you don't see that too often, Dave, a team trailing in the 4th quarter calling a timeout on defense.
Most of the coaches would want to save those in case they could get something going at the end. And really, you're only down 2 scores. I mean, things happen pretty quick sometimes.
They absolutely do.
You just have to ask Lowe on that 82-yard carry. And I'm sorry, it wasn't a carry. It was a pass completion.
Catch and run by Justice Lowe.
Right.
And we've seen just in the second half the speed of Justice Lowe. I know you've mentioned it a few times now, but really tremendous speed. And in that first game, he didn't really have an opportunity to showcase it, but we've seen it here tonight.
And I think you mentioned it earlier, too. It looks to me like Lincoln is opening up the playbook a little bit, running far more different kinds of plays and getting Lowe more involved in the action.
Ambrose hands it off to Kopetz up to the 30-yard line. Did the ball come out? You hear the whistle. Looks like Lincoln's going to maintain possession. Well, they're going to spot it at the 29.
3rd down 2.
Third and 3 from the 31. Low in motion. Ball gets in his arms. Short of the first down. Only a yard gained on the carry. It'll be 4th down, and now let's see what the Lincoln offense decides to do. 4th and 2 from the 30-yard line. I think I'd go for it here, Dave. If you can maintain possession.
I don't think I'd go for it. I know I'd go for it.
Looks like the offense staying on the field.
And I'd give the ball to Kopetz.
The power runner. You can see him on the left side of the backfield. And they do hand it to Kopetz, and he's going to go up the middle, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down.
Needed about 2, got 6.
So clock will stop while they move the chains, but Lincoln maintaining possession is key here, leading by 2 scores. And now they run the clock. And Gresham only having one timeout remaining.
See if the Cardinal defense can pitch a shutout tonight.
Lincoln was shut out week 1. They would like to return the favor. And we see movement. I think this is on the defense. Looks like number 57 of the Gresham roster. That's Casey Jakowski.
And it is against the Gophers. Back it up, or move it ahead 5 yards, and it'll make it 1st and 5.
Jakowski, one of 2 freshmen on the Gresham roster.
By the way, there's no freshman on the Lincoln roster.
There is not. Jakowski, 6 foot 215 as a freshman. So he could be 14, 15 years old. Standing in at that size. Ambrose airing out deep, and he has a man wide open. Justice Lowe with his 2nd touchdown of the game.
21 yards on the pass completion.
And Lincoln just adds on here. 20-0. 3:02 remaining. And we have sung Justice Lowe's praises, but let's also give a lot of credit to Mario Ambrose. He may have been wide open, but he did not miss.
That coming at 3:02. Mangus in for the point after touchdown. By the way, that
Mangus.
is that going to drop over? Yes.
It does get just over the crossbar. You said
3 minutes.
didn't have to get high, doesn't have to get far.
Just over that
Gets
crossbar.
just enough.
2 touchdown passes, Ambrose to Lowe. That's 103 yards.
Those 2 combining to put some crooked numbers into the box score. And now if you're Gresham, it's going to be tough to come back in this one.
14 points here in the 4th quarter for the Cardinal to go with that 7 they got in the 3rd. It was 0-0 at halftime. It's now 21-0 Cardinal. And again, you know, Lowe was open that time. There was no question that he was open. Sometimes, you know, it's hard to hit that open receiver who's standing there waiting for the ball, and Ambrose put it right on the money.
Ambrose having an excellent second half. And we see some more movement on the kickoff team. They're going to have to work on this one in practice.
That was about how many players you have on the field.
That's going to land out of bounds again. We'll see if they make them re-kick it or not.
I might take that one.
Traveled about 19 yards.
Right, they're going to take that one. They're not going to make them kick it again. They're going to take it. Because it's somewhere near midfield, I think, isn't it? Well, let me see. Let me see, though. Yeah, they're going to spot that at the 43-yard line.
Indeed. So about a 13-yard kick. Or excuse me, 17 yards.
Yep, 17 yards on the kick. Fans are yelling, get on the board.
We do have some fans in attendance here at Gresham High School. Of course, would like to see their team get some points. Handoff. Finds a hole on the right side. Hempstead
Lots of room, zigzagging across the 50.
up to the 41-yard line. A big run for Hempstead, about 15 yards on the carry. 1st and 10.
By Ethan Hempstead.
I mentioned he's probably their best offensive player tonight. Clock stopped to move the chains. Now it's running.
Just one timeout remaining for Gresham.
Lincoln has all their timeouts remaining, by the way. Not that they're going to take any right now, but
Handoff going up the middle. Hempstead up to the 34-yard line. Maybe the 35. Another big gain for Hempstead. Dave, I know you have a lot of history with this school. Do you have any idea why their mascot is the Gophers? I like the alliteration, but I have a feeling there's got to be something to it.
As a homeowner who fought those little critters a number of times, I can tell you exactly why.
Lots of Gophers and Gresham, huh?
Yes, there are.
A pitch and a first down.
Hempstead on the left side.
Hempstead stays on his feet.
If you have a beautiful front yard in Gresham, it's not going to be long till those little mounds of dirt start piling up. You can drive around in the summer and see them everywhere.
I'm not very educated when it comes to Gophers, I'll be honest. Do they hibernate in the winter? Probably.
I don't know.
First and 10 from the 25. Another handoff. Hempstead. Short gain this time.
Gophers are trying to get on the board. They got 1:15 left to go to do it.
They have one timeout remaining. We'll see if they use it to just try to get that 0 off the board. Really no chance in scoring 3, of course.
They had 9 points in their first week against Franklin. Wasn't enough. Franklin won that one 13-9.
You saw Lincoln frantically trying to make a switch on defense, but it turns out they had plenty of time, as the Gophers are not hurrying things up with 42 seconds. Clock continues to run. Fakes the handoff, throws it deep, and tipped and incomplete.
Down incomplete. Very close.
Mario Ambrose, another defensive stop. So we've sung his praises passing the ball here this evening, and he's made a couple good defensive stops as well.
And that was a good stop because Ethan Evans got behind him. Kaufman just underthrew it, and Ambrose knocked it down.
So we'll see if the Gophers keep the ball in the air now.
3rd and 5.
From the 20-yard line. If they don't convert here, are they capable of kicking a field goal just to try to get on the board for a moral victory, if you will? And here's a handoff and no gain.
With the carry.
And let's see if they get a playoff. They could call a timeout.
Cardinal that time were waiting for Hempstead, and they just took him down the line of scrimmage. It's 4th down, 4th and 5.
And we are going to get a timeout with 17.9 remaining. And now if you're Gresham,
their final timeout.
What are you trying to accomplish with this final play? Do you want to kick a field goal just to see, or
I want to score a touchdown that carries over into the next week? You know, I'm not going to. A field goal here would be about a 40-yarder.
I suppose there's not a ton of value in kicking a field goal because you can run that in practice all day. It is a little defense when you, or it is a little different when you have a defense breathing down your neck. Obviously, converting here from 20 yards out, if you're trying to throw the ball, is going to have its own difficulties. But I assume whatever Gresham decides to do, it will be to try to score. Trying to prevent being shutted out. Meanwhile, for the Lincoln side, what a defensive output for them this evening.
Good pass rush, good pass coverage. Hempstead has gotten some good rushing yardage on them, but they've been pretty stout in the middle.
You see a deep safety in the end zone, and they are going to drop back. Quarterback's under pressure, and he's going to take it himself, running up the sideline, has some room to work with, now running across, and is going to be tackled there. They have 8 seconds.
It's a first down.
It is a first down. They're going to move the chains, so let's see if they can get another play off.
They have no timeouts left.
And they are hurrying up to the
I'd spike
line of
the ball.
scrimmage.
I'd spike the ball.
They're going to have to hurry.
As soon as it starts, I'd spike it.
They get the ball off. They're not spiking it, but they have time. Aired out into the end zone. Lots of traffic there. And it's incomplete. That will end the ball game. Well, they made it a little exciting at the end. Gresham trying to get on the board, but Lincoln does complete the shutout, and they win it tonight 21-0.
3 touchdowns for the Cardinal in the game. 4:08 of the third quarter. Justice Lowe on an 82-yard pass completion from Mario Ambrose. The point after touchdown by Magus. In the fourth quarter, with 10 minutes left to go, a 6-yard run by Brady Kopetz. The point after touchdown by Mangus. And then at 3:02 left in the game, another 21-yard touchdown pass from Ambrose to Lowe, his second touchdown reception of the game, and the point after touchdown by Mangus. Dylan Mangus good on all 3 point after touchdowns. And our final score, Lincoln 21, Gresham nothing, a shutout for the Cardinal.
We do want to thank everyone for joining us here on Oregon Sports Beat. I'm sure a number of you would have loved to be in attendance, limited attendance allowed here tonight at Gresham High School. So as long as the circumstances allow it and you are unable to attend, we thank you for joining us here on Oregon Sports Beat. I do want to thank everyone behind the scenes, Steve Roberts and Jim Thompson helping us out here at Gresham High School, as well as Ryan Johnson, who runs the show here at Oregon Sports Beat. And I want to thank my broadcast partner, Dave Hall, for joining me on what was a much warmer night than what we experienced a week ago here at Gresham High School. We also do want to remind you we will be back with Lincoln High School football a week from today at Wilson High School, and we will be bringing you all the action here on Oregon Sports Beat. So be sure to join us once again. That will do it. Once again, from Gresham High School, the Lincoln Cardinals win it, improving to 1-1, a 21-0 victory over the Gresham Gophers, who are now 0-2. See you next week.